G'day folks, just doing a little bit on the Yanmar tonight. Got the oil pump out. I've got to rebush the oil pump bearing material. There isn't actually a bearing in there, it's just bored a hole in the block and that's all worn out unacceptably. If I get the pump in there, that's not good. So I've got to bore that out and bush it, bronze bush. The rest of the pump might be alright. It's mainly that's the main problem. Using an old refrigerant bottle as a vacuum recovery vessel for oil. I'm just sucking all of the diesel out. Because I filled the crankcase up with diesel and it's just dissolved all of that sludge. And now I use the vacuum pump to pull the vacuum on the cylinder. I've drilled and tapped a 1/8 BSP fitting onto the side of the bottle after it was empty, of course. And I have a recovery line, so all the oil's going in there. All the original Sump oil's in there too, so there's only about that much in there. But give it a shot. It's not extraordinary vacuum capability, but it works pretty well. I'll take this cover off again next and keep cleaning. Probably chuck some more Kero in there, or not Kero, but diesel, and see how we go. That's just going through a filter. I can see if any residual oil starts coming up, I can see it. I'm going to make a catch can eventually. And I've got a much bigger vacuum pump up on the back shelf to set up. There's a big 1/2 horsepower GE one up on the back shelf that came out of a similar style of lithographic exposure system, or whatever it is. It pulls a vacuum on a cabinet and flattens the originals together for exposure or something like that. Either way, they're repurposed vacuum pumps. So yeah, it's coming up pretty good. But the oil scrubber was 100% plugged, which would explain why there was such low oil pressure just turning it over by hand. Well, actually I didn't get anything coming out of the oil pressure sender hole. So that's all cleaned out now. There's a lot of prehistoric muck inside it. All of that. So yeah, this thing had been neglected for a long time. It's looking a lot cleaner. I did give it a bit of a wipe out with a fresh rag. Oh, came out pretty good. As long as you don't get crud in the ball bearings and things like that, you're pretty much right to wash all that shit out. I'll clean the top of that governor because there's a bit of crap on there. Just a matter of going around with a very clean rag and just wiping off any large deposits of crud. As long as you don't get it in anywhere important like the main bearings, you're right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Just got to order a head gasket and a new rocker cover from Minard's Marine, or Minard's Diesel. When the money comes in, I'll buy that. From now I'll just keep cleaning bits up, put it back together and just hang on to it. And I was talking to a good friend of mine about the Westinghouse DC generator, and he gave me a pretty simple solution to insulating those square brush holder poles. We'll just cut strips of mylar or whatever and just stack them in there. I mean, the voltage potential is nowhere near high enough to arc through any gaps in the insulation, as long as it's there. Yeah, so I'm going to tackle the Westinghouse DC generator next. But for now, I'll just quickly get this thing ready to go. Once I get the head gasket and the bonnet, or rocker cover, whatever they like to call it. I think they like to call it a bonnet. That alone is $140 second hand. That's kind of retarded for a little alley casting. But it's going to be a bit hard to mill one out of a solid block simply because I don't have a block big enough. Nor the time to do it. Likewise, I'll bore out and bush this oil pump as well. That's got to be done. Pretty much an essential thing. Even put a seal in here or something like that to stop oil from blowing past and getting back into the low pressure side. There's a few ways of fixing that, because that's what drives the oil pump, and as long as I can stop oil from blowing past it, it'll be right. Oh, that's all for tonight, and thanks for watching.